Hello and welcome. Dr. Karen Kan here, and I'm going to be sharing with you my system of doing energy healing. Now, this is something that I do before I do any acupuncture with any patient. So I want to make sure that if you are coming to the office to do acupuncture with me or to get some sort of energy work, that you understand how the healing will proceed as far as what's going on in your body and also what to expect when you come into the office, or if you are doing remote healings with me, what to expect as well. So if you don't know me very well, I'm the best-selling author of Guide to Healing Chronic Pain, A Holistic Approach, and you can get a copy of this book on Amazon or Barnes & Noble or order it from any bookstore. You can also get the first 6 chapters free on my website, www.karenkan.com, and when you sign up for my mailing list, not only will you get the first 6 chapters free, you will also get access to my Fast Track Your Healing online webinar programs, where I go into more detail some of the healing methods that I use and how this whole healing thing works. I've also been a featured presenter on Biography TV about energy medicine, and also the PBS special Discoveries in Alternative Medicine. And my favorite thing to do is to do holistic healing, energy healing, and spiritual healing. TolpaKan healing system is a system that I developed that includes the muscle testing assessment of what's going wrong in the body, mind, spirit, and then using special healing energies to help support the body's ability to self-heal. So in today's presentation, I'm going to share with you the 4 different healing types and how you know how fast you will heal, the underlying concepts that help you understand why you got sick in the first place and why you're not getting better. And also a little bit about German New Medicine. Now, this isn't going to be a whole lecture on German New Medicine, but just to expect what is going to happen in the healing process. And I find it very helpful so people can understand when they're healing, sometimes they have more symptoms rather than less when they're in that part of the healing mode. And then I'm going to give an example of what we would do in the office or remotely to help your body heal. And then some tips on how to make your home a better healing environment for you and to optimize your body's ability to self-heal. So first I want to talk about the 4 healing types. Basically in coordination with the archangels. I talk to them a lot, actually. They're non-denominational, so you don't have to be Catholic or Christian or anything like that. These archangels are spiritual beings that are there to help us with our healing. And, you know, I have these conversations regularly with them. They're pretty awesome about it. And one day they helped me discover that when I was asking them a question about how come sometimes people heal faster than others, it was revealed that there are basically 4 different types of healing bodies or healing people. So type 1 is the type of person who heals pretty quickly. Those are usually not the kind of people that come see me. They don't need much work. They don't have to have a lot of consciousness on what's going on. They tend to heal pretty quickly and they're on their way. Every time they heal, it does help all of humanity to some degree, because if they actually do heal and not just cover up the symptoms, that helps to improve the whole energetics of the whole world. But they tend to get better pretty quickly, and some young children can do that. Not all young children are type 1s, but like I said, they don't normally come to see me. Now, the type 2s are people that need to do a little bit of more work. They have to take responsibility to some extent for their own healing. So they might be the ones that have to work on their sugar addiction, or have to learn to decrease stress in their home, and have to be willing to learn new things or try new habits or release emotional baggage. So they have to have some sort of awareness. And the idea is every illness is a way, an avenue for our spiritual and personal growth. So it's there for a perfectly good reason. It's not a bad thing if you're sick. It just means that you have some work to do. So the type 2s don't have to do a lot of work, but they have to do some work to get better. The type 3s are more like people that I see, type 3s and 4s, and they are the ones that are considered difficult cases by their doctors and even themselves. They tend to take longer to heal, and they sometimes have very complex symptoms. And what I find with these folks is that they tend to have some sort of soul contract or responsibility to not heal just themselves, but their whole families or their family line. So they're doing a lot of ancestral healing. one of the techniques they use called the emotion code. We actually can assess trapped emotions that you have inherited from your ancestors and release them, not just in you, but your children and grandchildren and your ancestors before you. It'll actually pop it right out of the energy fields of all the people, living or dead. It's pretty cool. So type 3s actually have to do quite a bit of work. They may have to work with some ancestral addictions, more ingrained patterns. They tend to take a little longer to heal, especially if they don't really take responsibility for their healing. So it's not a quick fix for the type 3s because they have a greater responsibility, and they may even find that they have imbalances from other so-called lives, not just this current life that they're paying attention to, but even so-called parallel or past lives. They may have to heal some of those issues in order for their symptoms to get better. And the type 4s are people like me. I call them healers on a mission. So these people have the most complex and difficult to treat problems. In fact, we usually make some amazing discoveries through these people. And they're here not only to heal themselves and their ancestry, but also to heal the universe and the world in whatever way they wish to. So a lot of them have a bigger responsibility. So they're usually tough for their providers to actually make them better. And those are the types that tend to find me because we tend to find some really strange things sometimes that's causing and contributing to their issues. And once healed, that actually sets up a wonderful blueprint for everybody else in the world that might have similar issues that can't heal. If they can heal them, that actually helps other people in the world heal them automatically, even without knowing that person. So it is a really blessed gift to be able to be a type 4 and to own and appreciate and honor your role in helping heal others. So type 4s are people, and type 3s are often I get to see, but I have a lot of type 2s as well. So if you want to check what type you are, you can let me know and I can check you to see what type you are so you know what to expect in your healing. Now, I'm going to give you the Chinese medicine or energy medicine perspective of all illness and disease. This is the only thing you really need to understand why people get sick. There's only two things that cause that. One, they don't have enough energy or vitality. That's it, not enough energy in the battery. Number two, that energy is distorted. You kind of have an energy blueprint in your body. That blueprint is what the body knows to be able to make an organ or make nerve cells or whatever it is. So if that blueprint is messed up, it's sort of like having a house with a very poor blueprint. Maybe the foundation is not correct or it's imbalanced. This house will not stand very long, right? So if your blueprint or your energy balance is not good, things will distort and your energy centers won't work well, your organs won't work well, and that's why you get sick. So it's very simple in energy medicine why people get sick. You don't have enough qi or energy. Qi is the Chinese word for energy, or your energy is imbalanced or distorted. Simple, simple. So this energy is something that basically animates all living things. If you don't have qi, you're dead. Very simple. So the more qi you have, the more balanced qi you have, the healthy you are. I liken it to a battery. If you have a very full charged battery, you can take a lot of, you can take a lot of stress, you can do a lot of work, but when you get your battery to a lower level, then you have to be careful because then chronic illness can set in if you do not recharge your batteries. And some people don't know their batteries are getting drained, but stress definitely drains your battery a lot. And that's why they say that stress is the main cause of almost every illness there is. And it just simply means you've drained your energy. So I'm going to talk a little bit about German New Medicine and how the body heals itself. German New Medicine was discovered by Dr. Hammer, who is an oncologist, and discovered that he ended up with testicular cancer about 3 months after his son was shot and then eventually killed and murdered. And he wondered whether his cancer had anything to do with that conflict or that shock that occurred during his son's death. And he found that looking at his patient's charts, his patient's brain scans, that it was very interesting that there was a pattern between what parts of the body had the cancer, and there was a specific swelling in the brain, a target lesion almost, that actually corresponded to that exact organ, and it corresponded to the exact type of conflict or shock that person had. These are what they call biological shocks, so they occur even in the animal kingdom. For example, a starvation conflict might occur in the animal kingdom, but also can occur if someone loses their job, for example. And what does this do with the energy field in the body? Well, it probably drains it, right? And it probably distorts the energy field in the body. So the reason I want to share with you German New Medicine is to show you this chart. When the person has these sort of conflicts or shocks, supposedly are the cause of all illnesses, okay, of course, from my perspective, it's a distortion in the energy field or an absence of energy. But what happens is you have this conflict or shock, and then you go into stress mode. You don't really have a lot of symptoms here, you're just not sleeping, but you're going to stress mode, and at this point, the tumor is created if you have cancer, or depending on the part of the brain, you might have less cells. You might have osteoporosis, for example. The cells might be getting killed here. What's supposed to happen is as you resolve that conflict or the shock in your psyche, in your spirit, your body starts healing itself. This is when people start having symptoms. So if you have a cancer that's growing, guess what? In German New Medicine, that is part of the healing response. And what's supposed to happen is that cancer is supposed to absorb itself. Those extra cells actually die off and remodel, and you don't have cancer anymore. And this is very hard for the people that treat cancer, that's billions and billions of dollars industry, to accept that it's possible for cancer to heal itself. So there's a lot of resistance to this concept. But as you go into healing mode, you go into what's called a vagotonia or relaxation phase, and you become more tired, actually. You have more symptoms. You actually can have fevers, weight loss, a nasal drainage, muscle aches, swelling of your organs, even as your organs are being protected with extra fluid as the toxins are being released from your body. And partway through this healing phase, this is when you feel crappy, you actually have what's called a healing crisis or an epileptoid crisis. That's this peak right here. So this crisis means that you're almost done with the healing, and you can have a lot of symptoms. And then what should happen is that you should resolve these symptoms, and then whatever it is, that whether it be cell growth or cell destruction, that has reversed itself, and that's assuming that you have come to terms with that conflict or shock that occurred early in your life. Now, what happens is a lot of people do not finish the healing response, and they end up what's called tracking. They keep looping around here and they don't fully resolve it. And we can actually check what phase of the healing you are. And so I want you to know, when you start healing, sometimes you'll feel worse before you'll feel better. Why is that? Because you might be going through this healing crisis. I've had several people with Lyme issues, Lyme disease, that as they were getting better and better, we were measuring that they were getting better and better. Their Lyme was getting more and more healed, and then suddenly they ended up with flu-like symptoms, and they were in bed for 2 days. It felt like crap, excuse the language, but they felt horrible. But their immune system was really firing and really happy, and they were just doing this. They were just doing that last bit of healing. And after that's done, wow, what a huge difference to their lives. They're doing so much better than they ever were when they started with their symptoms 10, 20 years ago. Amazing. So the body knows what it's supposed to do. My job is to help it along so it doesn't keep looping or tracking around here, so it helps go to the other side and completely heals. So in the office and also remotely, we use something called muscle testing. It's a way to tap into the subconscious mind, your higher self, to get answers, because your higher self knows what's going on with you. It knows what's good for you, what's not good for you. I don't know, but it's like your God self knows. So we tap into it using muscle testing, and we can test all sorts of things, including food intolerance, supplement doses, what therapies you're interested, how well you can respond to acupuncture even. It's very simple. You ask yes or no questions to your subconscious, and you get yes or no answers. Now, that being said, we do not want you to think that muscle testing is good for things like winning the lottery or testing whether you're pregnant if you're attached to the outcome. Anything that you're really attached to the outcome, you can get inaccurate results. So it is not 100% and it's not foolproof. And sometimes people feel it's really kind of, weird kind of stuff that we do. But all I can tell you is that muscle testing can be incredibly accurate and incredibly helpful in knowing where you are in the healing process so you can understand how best to heal your body. Some people ask, well, I don't know what diet I should use. Well, there's certain things I do know that aren't good. We know that sugar is not good for you. That's kind of a given. We know that hydration with good quality water is good for you. But beyond that, sometimes I just don't know. we can only guess based on the science we have out there, but your body knows. So your body might know that, yeah, I want to eat fish 5 times a week. And it'll tell us that if we ask the right questions. And what do you need most to heal well? Now, in traditional muscle testing, you'll actually see the practitioner pushing down on someone's arm. And how this works is we ask you to resist. And if you can match our pressure, that's a good sign, that's normal. Then we check if you're testable. And that means that if you say your name, you should test strong and your arm should be pretty strong. Nothing should move. When I say resist, if you test weak on your name and strong on somebody else's name, we often use the name Bob, unless, of course, your name is Bob. So if you test weak on Bob, that means that you are not testable. We cannot use your arm and shoulder for testing because you're backwards. That's called reverse polarity. This is a non-healing state, and that's the first thing we have to actually correct in your body if you fail this test. So if you're testable, great. We can continue doing muscle testing and asking your body yes or no questions. Why? How do we do that? Well, when your arm stays strong and we ask a question and the answer is yes, that's what happens. If the answer is no, your arm will go weak and I'll be able to overcome you very easily with that 2 pounds of pressure I put in there. Now, if you are not testable, there's two things we can do. We can either use a proxy, which is me taking over the muscle testing for you using my body. And what happens there is I energetically ask your body if it's okay if I tap into your energy field and do all the muscle testing on my body using a technique called self-muscle testing. Or if you have a family member who is testable, we can just have you hold hands and we can just test your family member while asking the questions to your body and your subconscious. So you might see me, if I'm doing proxy testing for you, you might see me using my hands this way, where this is called the O-ring method, where we open or close a ring. And yes means the ring stays closed with the same amount of pressure, and no means that it opens when we ask the question, and the answer to your answer that your subconscious mind gives us is no, that ring will just open. So I have actually videos on how to do this for yourself. It takes a lot of practice to do it well. I do it like thousands of times per week, so I've gotten pretty good at this and it's very accurate. I also do the flick method. I also have a YouTube video on how I do this, so you can check that out on my YouTube channel. But these are some of the things you might see me do in the office, and this is what I use for remote healing. Because I can't touch you and can't check your arm traditional muscle testing, I use remote proxy muscle testing in order to assess what imbalances you have. So we can actually check where you are in the healing cycle. Are you in the healing part? Usually you are by the time you see me. How far into it are you? Are you looping or tracking and not resolving it fully? And have you already completed the healing crisis? Some people feel worse before they feel better, like I say, and we can check, is this a new problem? Yes or no? Or is this a resolution or a healing crisis based on an old problem? And your subconscious will let us know either way. And it is so useful to have this information. So again, we can actually check how far into this healing cycle are you and whether you've actually finished the healing crisis. And there are things we can do to ease these symptoms. You don't have to have the whole body aches, the fever, the weight gain or loss, whatever it is. Sometimes people do need to go through it if it's a pretty significant illness, but we can often ease those symptoms with energy healing or acupuncture. These are some of the things that I can assess either remotely or in the office. Your immune system, how good your spiritual immune system is, like how well you're able to block negative energy from coming into you. If you have non-supportive beliefs that are blocking you from healing, addiction levels, especially if you're type 3 or 4, this is very important. If you have any degree of autoimmunity, we can actually test that too energetically, much more accurately in my estimation than we have as far as medical lab testing, at least in New York State. We don't really get the opportunity to do a lot of autoimmune testing of all these different organs like in some of the other states that we can in America. The most important, of course, being your brain balance. Are you reversed? Are you not reversed? Are you brain balanced? What are your mineral levels? What are your hydration levels? Those all are things that we can assess on your visits, either by phone, remotely, or in person. And then I use something called the body code. Now, the body code is a system that uses muscle testing to check what other imbalances are going on in your body contributing to your issues. So just so you know that there are body code practitioners out there who are not medical doctors, and that's okay. We never say that they are dispensing medical advice, but just sharing with you the suggestions your subconscious is making to see what would help your body self-heal. So if you find there's a mold infection, for example, your body might say, yeah, I want coconut oil, and then we'll just test how much coconut oil you need to help your body release that mold infection once and for all. And for long-standing problems you've had for years or sometimes decades, it's going to take some time. Your body's going to need to unlayer each of these problems little by little, because it'd be too dramatic to try to force the body into a new state of being immediately. The physical body needs some time to adjust, so you need to be patient, especially if you have issues for a very long time. So this is what the screen looks like for the body code healing method. And what's really cool is that under each of these categories, you will actually see that there are lots of different possibilities. Under the energetic category, things like emotions, trapped emotions, allergies, and even negative offensive energies might show up in your muscle testing, such as curses or entities, which people get scared of, like negative spirits, ghosts, that kind of thing, but it's not a big deal. Very easy to heal them as we heal you. They go to the place they're supposed to, no big deal. Circuitry issues might be acupuncture meridian imbalances, might be organ imbalances, certain hormone organs are out of balance, that'll show up here. Toxins, such as toxins in your food, even medical toxins like vaccines might show up here. Chemicals, things like that, and even toxins from infections might show up. Under this category, pathogens are infections, so mold, yeast, fungus, bacteria, parasites will show up here. If your body tells us to go into that screen, we can check which infection you have and for how long and when you got it. It's really, really cool, and how healed you are of it. Misalignments could include organs that are misaligned or bones, which are very common to be misaligned, and we can see whether fixing those misalignments can help your symptoms. And under nutrition lifestyle, things like do you have a pH imbalance? Are you too acidic in your body? Or do you have enough sleep? Or are you hydrating enough? Or are you nutrient deficient? Are there some supplements you need, or eat more or less of a particular food? And what's really interesting is that amongst all these different kinds of imbalances, the emotions are incredibly important. We often find at the bottom of it all, including those conflict shocks, of course, that cause all sorts of illnesses, including cancers and so on and so forth, that emotions underlie those things that distort the energy field of the body. In fact, trapped emotions are like a ball of energy distorting your energy field. And by releasing them, we actually help the body's energy field become more balanced, and therefore your body heals itself. So we can release these trapped emotions by just muscle testing and checking in where it is on this chart. And in traditional emotion code practice, we actually use a magnet. And same thing with the body code. We actually use a magnet down the governing vessel meridian, which is the acupuncture meridian at the back. So I might be doing a magnet down your back, sweeping a magnet down your back to release the trapped emotion or the imbalance in the body code. Or if I'm doing remotely, I might be using a magnet over my head, because the governing vessel meridian, acupuncture meridian, also traverses over the head. So when I release it on me, I release it on you. That's how proxying works that way. And if you want more information, there's a free book on my website. You can go to karenkan.com/emotion code book, and that'll forward you to Dr. Bradley Nelson's website, where you will get a copy of the emotion code book, as well as an invitation to learn more about the emotion code, which is just fascinating. So you get the ebook, you get the audiobook, and you get a free class with Dr. Brad, and that's his gift to us, and I so appreciate his gift. So the emotion code is a big deal. We use that a lot because we find that when we release trapped emotions, people get better so much faster, and sometimes miraculously. It's great for children. It even works for pets and works at a distance, so you don't even need to be there, and we can help you with that. One of the most common things that people love to have worked on, especially if they have relationship issues, is a heart wall. That's a wall full of trapped emotions, and we can release those layer by layer so that your heart can be free to fully receive love, to fully give love, and to fully fulfill your heart's desires. If you have a heart wall, it's really hard to be happy, and it's really hard to get what you want in life. So we if you're interested, let me know and we can release your heart wall for you. Usually takes 3 to 5 sessions. And I have a special on my website for just the heart wall as well. Now, this is something that is, you're never going to see it anywhere else on the web except from me, at least for now, because I use a specific set of healing frequencies given to me by the archangels. And the closest English translation for this is Tolpa, T-O-L-P-A. It's not actually English, it's not even human, but anyway, the spelling. But that's about as human as we can get. The Tolpa healing frequencies are those gifted to us by the archangels and attuned to a person through Archangel Raphael. Jesus, for example, was a human who was attuned to this frequency. It's a combination of beneficial and healing frequencies gifted to us by the archangels. And once a person is attuned, that person can then set up intentions to heal other people with that energy. It's actually not as complicated as it sounds, and we can attune people with intention just by holding their hand and putting our hands over their heart, and within a few minutes they're attuned with that energy, and what they do with it, it's up to them. The nice thing is you cannot harm someone with this energy. It is impossible to kill or hurt anybody with these beneficial energies. And in the office, I'll often combine the body code, emotion code, and TolpaKan healing. Usually in the body code, emotion code, we use a magnet to release the trapped emotions or the trapped energy. In TolpaKan healing, we actually do what we call as a command. This can be done in silence, or it can be done through imagination and visualization, or by words. Oftentimes I will use words, so the person that I'm working with will know what I'm doing. So an example of a command might be, by the power of love and light, I now command that the such and such be healed in all dimensions and directions of time in the highest and best way without detoxification symptoms. Thank you. Simple, very simple. I know it sounds like it's too good to be true, but hey, it's not my stuff. I just use it. It's something that's gifted to humanity and all of us, and just up to you whether you want to use it. So the TolpaKan system of healing has my name in it. The reason it has my name in it is a long story, but the archangels and I had a conversation and they insisted that I actually use my name because of their energies are the Tolpa energies, but the Kan part is the system we use in the healing. The system is very simple. Number one, we assess using muscle testing what the issues are causing and contributing to your issues. And then number two, we intend to use the Tolpa frequencies, and then we make the command to be healed. And then usually at that point, the person may have a shift in how they feel. And then we reassess using muscle testing if things have changed. And then over time, we document the change as well. Now, sometimes there are many, many layers of things. You necessarily cannot suddenly grow a new limb, for example, if you've got your arm cut off, okay? That might happen in Jesus' days. We haven't figured that one out yet. I haven't tried, actually. But what we can do is we can check with the liver. How happy are you right now? The liver might be 31% happy. We ask the subconscious mind, do you need to know why you're unhappy or why the liver's unhappy? If it says yes, then we go into complex shocks. We go into body code, emotion code. If it says no, that you don't need to actually know why your liver's unhappy, then we often will use the TolpaKan system and command your liver to be healthy. And at least that layer of imbalance will be removed for that time being. And we'll recheck your liver. Say it started at 21% happy. After we do the TolpaKan healing, we recheck and see where it's at. If it hasn't budged, then there's some sort of block, then we go more into what's causing the block. But a lot of times you'll see a shift right away. The liver might be 50% happy or 60% happy, which is the direction we want to see happen. So it's amazing how energy healing can really quicken things. And of course, the acupuncture, if you do it, in the office, this is after all this stuff. The acupuncture just really helps to increase the flow of qi and helps balance the flow of qi so you get better faster. So we're not going to go through step-by-step a healing demonstration, but I did want to share with you that how we normally would do it is we would check your brain balance, we would check your hydration, your minerals if relevant. If you're not brain balanced, fix that first. Check if you have any conflicts or shocks causing or contributing your current issue, where you are in the healing process, how resolved are they, and if they're not resolved, use TolpaKan or body code or a combination of body code, motion code in TolpaKan in order to heal those underlying imbalances. And then we recheck the body and reassess how happy it is. And if you're in the office, you get acupuncture, increase your energy flow and energy charge. And that's pretty much the summary, of what we would do in the office. And then when you leave the office for your first visit, you will get some handouts. One is the EMF hygiene sheet. And what this means is we want your bedroom to be as pristine and healing an environment as possible, because you heal when you sleep, not when you're awake. You really heal when you sleep. Now, I know some people feel sleepy after we do the TolpaKan healing or the body code, and yes, that does put you into healing mode. You might feel sleepy after or relaxed for the first time for some people after the acupuncture too. Yes, you're in healing mode, but your cells really rejuvenate when you sleep. So you want your environment to be conducive to healing. So we got to get rid of the radiation in your bedroom. No cordless phones. Get a corded, old-fashioned corded phone for your bedroom if you need a phone at all. No cell phones in the bedroom unless it's on airplane mode and not charging. And you have to have a radiation protection device on it. And you can ask me more about that because there are different models for different phones. And as little electronics as possible in your bedroom. If you have a clock radio, we don't like the radio part of the clock even if you don't use it, so get a clock that's battery operated, ideally, that does not have a radio function on it. And if you use lights, try to avoid fluorescent lights. You can use compact LEDs or even incandescent old-fashioned energy-sucking devices like in your lights because it's safer for you. And make your bedding as natural materials as possible. All these things really help your healing at night. Hydration and mineral levels, if we test that and you're low, we definitely need you to hydrate with lots of pure water. And some health habits that are really helpful is cutting down on caffeine, sugar, and toxins in your environment, including, cleaning toxins, things you put on your skin, foods like genetically modified foods, aspartame, MSG, sucralose, NutraSweet, things like that. Sugar's a biggie, I have to say. It really blocks the healing process. I know people hate it when I say they have to eat less sugar, but it's very important. If you're spending all this money, you might as well do it right. So, parting words. Understand that the physical body takes time to adjust to the new energy blueprint of your body. So your physical body will follow the new energy blueprint once those energy fields are undistorted and you have more energy to do healing. And the more you take care of yourself, the faster you will heal. And especially if you're healing type 2, 3, and 4, you do have a higher levels of responsibility for your own healing. So it's not about just receiving healing and just getting healing from me or anyone else. It really is about a co-created partnership of healing so that you will learn more about yourself, more than probably ever before, and you will grow. And what we found is when people are willing to do that and they're willing to stick with it and do the work, it starts being fun. They start feeling better. Their families even start feeling better. Their relationships are happier. They feel more prosperous. They have these amazing personal growth breakthroughs. They're finding that they're helping other people just by being a bright and happy light. And that is the most rewarding thing for me to experience and see, which is why I love doing what I do. And that's why, as a type 4 healer on a mission, I don't mind the hard work for myself because it's worth it. Thank you so much for joining me. And if you are thinking about getting an appointment with me and have not already, you can go to KarenKan.com and there's a little pink widget at the very bottom that pops up, says book a consult. You can click the schedule now button and schedule a free 10-minute consult to see if what I have to offer is right for you. And you can also check out my Facebook page, Dr. Karen Kan, and we have some radio shows and really cool things happening around the world, healing classes, and you can get on my mailing list as well and get your free excerpt of the Guide to Healing Chronic Pain, as well as a free download of the Emotion Code book from Dr. Brad, just by going to my website, KarenKan.com. Again, thanks for listening, and I hope to see you soon.